Hey, how's it going? It's O.Chaplins Picks, where I need to watch movies like a zombie needs to eat brains. And today we're going to be talking about a movie that I really enjoy called Thanksgiving from 2023, directed by Eli Roth. I have my sidekick Mikey here. Do you want to say anything before I start?
Yeah, since it's Thanksgiving week, I just want to say I'm thankful I only have to hear you do one of these long reviews only once a week. If my head wasn't hollow, I'd blow my brains out after listening to you.
Anyway, so Thanksgiving from 2023, as I said, is directed by Eli Roth, who, as you may or may not know, is very big in the horror world. I know it's his favorite genre. He grew up loving horror. I was very excited when I heard they made it into a movie because it was originally based on a fake trailer that was included in 2007's Grindhouse. They played a bunch of fake trailers in the beginning of those movies, and the Thanksgiving trailer was one of the ones that was included. So that was really cool that it actually happened. The movie starts with the main character Jessica, played by Nell Verlocki. I believe that's how you say her last name. Anyway, her character's name is Jessica. It starts with Jessica's family sitting at Thanksgiving dinner. They have the table ready. They're about to eat Thanksgiving dinner. The sheriff comes over for the Thanksgiving dinner. He's played by Patrick Dempsey. And you find out that Jessica's dad is the owner of this store called Right Mart, which is basically like a knockoff Walmart. And normally it's closed on Thanksgiving Day, but because there is so much buildup over Black Friday, there's people already camping outside of the Right Mart. He's been talked into opening it early by his girlfriend, aka Jessica's stepmom. And he decides he's going to open around 6 p.m. on actual Thanksgiving Day. One of the other people at the dinner table is a character named Mitch, who's actually a manager at that Right Mart, and he gets called in to open the store early. So he has to leave the Thanksgiving dinner early, and he's like pissed off about it, but he has to go. And his wife, Amanda, she stays behind, at the Thanksgiving dinner when he leaves. And then Jessica and her friends end up leaving to go to the movies. But when they're on their way to the movies, they decide to stop by the Right Mart because since she has VIP treatment, since her dad owns the store, they can kind of get in a little bit early. They want to go and get something quickly before they go to the movies. And they kind of just get let in by the security. But everybody waiting outside who's been camping out sees them going in first and starts to get pissed off. Like, why the hell are these people getting to go in, but we have to wait out here? And the tension just keeps building and building, and you can tell that something crazy is going to go down. And then one guy gets on a bullhorn and basically says, you know what, the store's open. And then everybody runs to the door and basically leans on the glass door so hard that the glass cracks and the door actually goes down on top of the security guard, and they completely trample him like a bunch of animals and stampede in there, and people just start getting crushed. The security guard dies. Another guy runs through, and a piece of broken glass from the door like scratches his neck, and he's like got a piece of glass stuck in his neck and blood is going everywhere, but then he's still trying to grab his item that he wants to get while he's like bleeding to death. It's just total insanity with a lot of dark humor. And then one of Jessica's friends takes out his phone and starts recording everything. So then it cuts to 1 year later, and we see that there is some individual, we don't see his face, that has a bunch of newspaper clippings from this riot taped all over the walls. And he has a bunch of kind of death threats written around a lot of the people who were doing some of the trampling and taking advantage of the whole situation during the riot. You can tell that this guy has some unfinished business in regards to this riot, and that he is definitely going to be targeting these people that he has clippings of and pictures of all over the room. So there's a quick bit in the movie where they give a little information about this John Carver mask. The mask, I think, actually looks pretty cool. It definitely kind of has that iconic slasher mask look, and I could see people dressing up like that for Halloween, which I think is really cool. And they explain that John Carver was the first governor of the Plymouth colony because it takes place in Plymouth, Massachusetts, where Thanksgiving is like a really big thing. The first death that happens in the movie is one of the people who was definitely taking advantage of the riot while it was going on. It involves a freezer and a dumpster, and it's very gory. And after seeing her first death, you already know, okay, these are going to be creative kills, these are going to be really gory kills, and this is just going to be a bloody good time. It's kind of like a combination of I Know What You Did Last Summer meets Urban Legends with a little bit of Scream mixed in there, but more Urban Legends than I Know What You Did Last Summer. And I say Urban Legends because they had some kind of crazy kills in there also, like the dog in the microwave. So Jessica's character gets tagged in an Instagram post from an account under the name John Carver. And the post just says the table has been set. And it has a picture of a Thanksgiving table that looks all ready to go for Thanksgiving dinner. And what I thought was really cool of this movie is that there's this continuing theme of the killer tagging them in these Instagram posts, and they just get more and more sinister. And then, he starts displaying body parts from the people he's killing at that same Thanksgiving table that he said was set. And then you see that there's little name tags for each seat, and he's putting the dedicated body part to match the name of the seat. So this is giving an idea that they're going to be next to sit at this table. Like, he's coming for all of them. What I really love about this movie is that it truly feels like a 90s slasher movie, but then it's like slightly modernized with the social media and the cell phones and all that stuff. But it completely pulls off the vibe of feeling like you're watching a 90s slasher movie. So the killer keeps hunting them down one by one and slowly filling up the table. Someone actually gets basted like a turkey and stuck inside of an oven and cooked like an actual turkey.
That was my favorite part. I'm not gonna lie, I wanted to eat some of that thigh meat when he was cutting it off of her leg. It looked kind of bomb.
That's disgusting, Mikey.
Don't judge me, man. You're the one who watches all this twisted shit.
Touche. He has some of the other kids that he's captured, and they're all tied up and sitting at the Thanksgiving dinner table like they're about to have this Thanksgiving dinner, and he literally puts the lady on the table like if she was a cooked turkey. She's even in the shape of a cooked turkey with like the arms and legs, bent in, and the head is missing, and he has the head on a separate plate. That's the whole vibe of this movie. It just has some really crazy kills and over-the-top stuff going on. And then the killer, who is revealed at the end, does have a believable motive. When they explain it, I think it totally makes sense. And it's like he has this score to settle with them, and that's kind of that's like part of his motive and what's going on with all of the kills that he's doing throughout the movie. I'm definitely going to give this movie 4 out of 5 brains. It's super enjoyable. It's a lot of fun. If you like crazy over-the-top slashers with very creative kills, then I think you'll definitely enjoy this movie. And you can watch it every year around Thanksgiving. Hell, you can watch it while you're eating Thanksgiving dinner. Although I'd probably advise against that, because especially if you have the rest of your family with you, they might think there's something wrong with you. No, just kidding. Check out Thanksgiving when you can, and leave some comments below. Let me know if you liked Thanksgiving, if you saw it when it came out in the movie theater, if you want to see a sequel to it, or anything that you think is cool about Thanksgiving. I'd love to hear about that stuff. Like and subscribe to the channel if you can, and thanks for watching O.Chaplins Picks, where I need to watch movies like a zombie needs to eat brains, and I will see you next time.